In this video, we are discuss about the formation of urine step by step. There are three steps in the formation of urine. First is the glomerular filtration, second is the tubular reabsorption, and third is the tubular secretion. This is the short diagram of nephron, and this is the whole diagram of nephron. This glomerular capsule is called as the renal capsule, and the other part of this nephron means the proximal tubule, loop of Henle and distal connective tubule is called the renal tubule. Now, the glomerular filtration is the first step of urine and in which the water and the most solute particle move across the blood plasma into the renal tubule through the glomerular filtration. Then, the tubular reabsorption refers to the return of the substance to the blood. Then reabsorption takes place in the whole renal tubule, that is in proximal convoluted tubule, loop of Henle, distal convoluted tubule and the collecting duct. As a filter fluid is flow along this renal tubule, 99% of this filter water and some solute particle is reabsorbed. So only 1 to 2 liter of the excreted as a urine. This water and the solute return to the blood as it flow through these peritubular capillaries. These peritubular capillaries it help to reabsorb and some secretion. Then tubular secretion. Tubule cells secrete other material like wastage, drug, excess of iron into this fluid. Then tubular secretion means they remove the substance from the blood. Secretion occur in the proximal convoluted tubule, distal convoluted tubule, but not in loop of Henle. Then the glomerular filtration. Takes place through the semi-permeable wall of the glomerulus and the glomerular capsule. Then water and the other small molecule pass through, or although some are reabsorbed later. Then this is the glomerulus capsule and this is the cross section of these capillaries. There are the three principles for the filtration. First is the glomerular capillaries is so coiled, so it covers the large surface area for the filtration because they are so long and extensive. Then second principle is membrane is so thin and the porous, so the glomerular capillaries are about 50 times slicker than the other capillaries. Then third principle is the blood pressure in the glomerular capillaries is high due to the diameter of these efferent arterioles is smaller than the afferent arterioles. Then there is the three layer in these capillaries. First layer is prevent the blood cell like WBCs, RBC, but it allow the all component of the blood plasma passes through it. Then second layer which prevent the filtration of the large protein, and the third layer which prevent the filtration of the medium sized protein. Then the filtration pressure. Filtration pressure is required for the glomerular filtration. Then there is the three pressure. First is the glomerular blood hydrostatic pressure, which is means hydro means the water which is present in this blood exert the pressure in these capillaries. Then second is the capsular hydrostatic pressure, means the fluid which is present in this capsular space which exert the pressure filtration membrane which oppose the filtration. Then third is the blood colloid osmotic pressure. Here the term osmo means it relate the solute particle, that is it pressure is due to the presence of the protein like albumin, globulin, fibrinogen in the blood plasma which oppose the filtration. So the net filtration pressure is only the 10 mmHg. Now the term glomerular filtration rate, it is so important term in the glomerular filtration. It is mean the volume of the filter formed by the both kidney each time is called the glomerular filtration rate. Then in the healthy adult, GFR is about 125 ml per minute, that is 180 liter of the filtrate are formed each day by the two kidney. Nearly 99% of this filtrate fluid is reabsorbed that is only 1 to 1.5 liter is excreted as a urine, and this difference is due to the reabsorption and the secretion process. Any change in the net filtration pressure will affect the GFR. For example, in the severe blood loss, there is a decrease in the arterial BP, so it affect on the glomerular hydrostatic pressure, and it cause the less fluid is filtered. Or we see at the time of the exercise, the blood flow is so high, so it increase the net filtration pressure, and so it increase the glomerular filtration rate. Then three mechanisms which control the GFR. First is the renal autoregulation, in which the kidney is regulate the renal blood flow and the GFR rate. Then second is the neural. Like most blood vessels of the body, kidney are supplied by the sympathetic ANS fiber that secretes the hormone called norepinephrine, and this norepinephrine is cause the vasodilation, and the vasodilation which decrease the GFR rate. If the sympathetic stimulation is mild, means at the rest, and the afferent and efferent arterial is mild contract, and if the sympathetic stimulation is so high while at the exercise, then it causes the vasoconstriction. Then third is the hormonal regulation. First hormone is angiotensin second, and second hormone is atrial natriuretic peptide. Angiotensin second which potent the vasoconstriction, and ANP its cause increase the capillary surface area available for the filtration. Now this term which relate, we see vasoconstriction means it increase the blood flow, so it increase the GFR, and it ultimately increase in the renal volume, means the urine volume. Then the vasodilation is cause the decrease in the blood flow, so it cause the decrease in the GFR rate, and it affect on the urine volume. Now the tubular reabsorption. Most reabsorption from the filtrate is backed into the blood takes place in the proximal convoluted tubule. Proximal convoluted tubule wall are the line with the microvilli to increase the surface area for the absorption. Means all the filter, means here the all filter glucose is reabsorbed in this proximal convoluted tubule. About 99% of this filter water is reabsorbed. Then some solute reabsorbed by the both active and the passive process. Then water, glucose, amino acid, urea, and ions such as sodium, calcium, potassium, chloride, phosphate, bicarbonate, and some small protein and the peptide which reabsorb. Then some ion like sodium and the chloride can be absorbed by the both active and the passive mechanism depending on the site of the nephron. Some constituent of the glomerular filtration, that is glucose, amino acid, it do not normally appear in the urine because they are completely reabsorbed unless the blood level is high. The reabsorption of the nitrogenetic waste products such as the urea, uric acid, creatinine, this product is reabsorbed very less. Now there is the two mechanism for the reabsorption of the water and the solute particle. First is the paracellular reabsorption, and second is the transcellular reabsorption. This is the lumen of the renal tubule, and this is the blood capillaries, peritubular capillary network, and this is the tubular cell. Then paracellular reabsorption means the water and the solute particle which is reabsorption, and it pass between the tubule cell. And the transcellular means this solute particle is passed through the tubule cell. Normally the glucose is reabsorbed in the proximal convoluted tubule. By this mechanism, this called the sodium and glucose symporter. Now, the electrochemical gradient potent the passive reabsorption of the solute via the both paracellular and the transcellular route. Then the cell in the thick ascending limb have the symporter that simultaneously reabsorb the sodium, potassium and the chloride. By this sodium, potassium and chloride symporter. And this is the diagram of the sodium and the potassium, which one is the reabsorb and one is the secrete by the one same channel, in which the sodium is reabsorbed and the potassium is secreted at the same time by this channel. Now there is some hormone which influence the selective reabsorption. First is the parathyroid hormone. Parathyroid hormone, which is secreted from the parathyroid gland, which comes with the calcitonin, which is secreted by the thyroid gland, and this parathyroid hormone which cause the secreted calcium and the phosphate from the distal convoluted tubule. Then antidiuretic hormone. Antidiuretic hormone it secrete from the pituitary gland, and it increase the reabsorption of the water in the distal convoluted tubule and the collecting duct. Then aldosterone, which secreted by the adrenal cortex, which increase the reabsorption of the sodium, water and the potassium. Third is the atrial natriuretic peptide, which secreted by the atria of the heart, and it cause the decrease the reabsorption of the sodium, water from the proximal convoluted tubule and the collecting duct. Now we see the tubular secretion. The filtration occur as the blood flow through the glomerulus. Then substance not required or which is foreign material like drug including penicillin and the aspirin may not clear from the blood by the filtration because of the short time it remain in the glomerulus. Such substances are cleared by the secretion from the peritubular capillaries into the convoluted tubule and excreted from the body. Then tubular secretion of the hydrogen ion is important in maintaining the blood pH. We see the maintaining the blood pH is the function of the kidney, and with the hydrogen ion potassium is also secreted in this secretion process, and some hormone is also secreted. Now the rate of urinary excretion of any solute particle, it is equal to the glomerulus filtration plus tubular secretion minus tubular reabsorption. This tubular reabsorption is minus because it takes the fluid in the blood. If you like this video, please subscribe, like and share. Thank you.